yeah, I'll just come out here and check. This cow's due to have a calf any day soon, so I just come out here and looked. She ain't showing nothing here yet, but yeah, I thought I'd make a quick video about something I saw on TV this morning, and a comment was made to me on a video too. I guess Dean's Foods has filed bankruptcy, and this is just kind of my opinion, a little bit of what I know about it, my understanding of it. I'm assuming it's going to be the milk company part. Dean's is a large corporation. They own a lot of brands. So I don't think it's the whole company that's bankruptcy in. I think it's just like their milk division. And what I saw in the news was that DFA, which is Dairy Farmers of America, is looking at buying them out, I guess, if I understood it right. I just caught a glimpse of it there flipping through the channels and missed the gist of the story. But from earlier this spring, that was the sense I was getting. And as far as Dean's filing bankruptcy, as far as I'm concerned, you can thank Walmart for that. If everybody remembers here, about 2 years ago, Dean's shut off, I think it was like 180 some farms in 7 states. And that was because, and this is where how I understand things went, Walmart opened up their own processing plant out in Indiana. It's either Indiana or Illinois, to supply 600 of their own stores here on the East Coast. And once they got that online, Dean's lost the contract to supply them Walmarts. So I guess that's what led to them shutting off them farms. And even in my area, the convenience stores that used to carry Dean's, they're not carrying Dean's like they used to. They have other brand milks in there. They'll have Snyder's or Upstate New York, but they're not carrying Dean's. And so I think it's just been a downfall for them for the most part. And I ship DFA. Now, there's only 3 farms left in my township. I ship DFA. One neighbor ships Dean's, and the other one ships grade B, which goes to a cheese market. Mine is grade A, Dean's, but DFA has no fluid plants in my area. The one cheese, where my milk goes, is a cheese plant. What DFA does, if they can contract it to somebody else and get paid better for it, that's what they do. And then they'll supply their own plants with the other. Well, mine goes into their cheese plant, which the guy that ships grade B, I'm pretty sure that's the same plant that goes to, from what I understand from the milk haulers. So, but if they would get an order or had to supply someplace else, my milk might end up going there. The other thing that affected Dean's here in our area is Meadowbrook up in Erie, Pennsylvania was shut down right after that too. And that was a Dean's plant, which I understand was solely supplied by DFA. That's how these companies work together. The cheese plant where my milk goes to is actually like a surplus plant. They do mozzarella and I don't know what all else. But Dean's was letting DFA supply that plant to get the grade A price, and then when Dean's had surplus milk, they could ship it into the farmer's cheese plant. Now Dean's has another fluid plant, it's probably 50, 60 miles, maybe a little bit further than that from here. So Dean's milk that's getting picked up around here is probably still going into that fluid plant of theirs, but so it's a whole complicated, screwed up mess. But when I saw on the news this morning that DFA was looking at buying it, the letter I got from DFA this spring, I said to myself, I bet they're going to buy out Dean's. Now, DFA is a co-op, and they take capital retains out of us. It's our investment in the company, and then we get paid dividends on it. And when I first started shipping milk there, well, it was Milk Marketing Incorporated when I started shipping, and over the years they merged, and then it was like 2000, it was mid-2000s, early 2000s when it became DFA, I guess, when they merged a couple of these companies together. And what they would do, they take like 10 or 15 cents. I forget what it was. I can't remember all these numbers, but they take money out of your milk check till you get to a certain level. Now, that's your base level. And you have to maintain, if you're between, I think it's like $1.10 to $1.30, 35, somewhere in that, they don't take capital retains out of you. And that account grows because when they pay dividends, it goes into that account, and that what builds it up. I mean, they haven't taken capital retains out of me probably in 20 years. So, and then once you get to like a level of $1.80, when they pay the dividends, they pay you 100% of the dividends. And it's all based on the volume of milk you send. So if you're sending 100,000 pounds of milk, and then in a year or two you're down to 40,000, your base capital jumps up, they'll pay you your dividends. But then if you increase production, then they may start taking them out of you. Again, to build it up to that threshold level. Well, this spring I got a letter saying that they were raising the level. Well, the first letter I got was, my account is up there, and they offered me an ability to split that off into another account. And then, like I said, I didn't understand the letter, and I've seen before where you could sell your equity. If you have $3,000 in equity, somebody might give you $2,000 for it, and then when that equity is called in, then they're paid that $3,000. But like I said, I didn't understand the letter. It sounded hokey or whatever, so I didn't do nothing. Well, then about a month later, I get a letter saying that they're raising the capital level of the capital retains to raise money to, and this is what the capital retains is used for, your investment in the company, to build plants, update plants, and it's for the infrastructure part of the co-op. And at this time, somebody told me that Dean's stock was dropped to next to nothing. And I got thinking to myself, Dean's is going to be looking to sell out, and I bet DFA is trying to raise money to buy them out. And then when I saw the news this morning, that's what I thought. Now, when I got that second letter, I'm glad I didn't go ahead and split that off or look into that more. Because if I had split that off, then that puts me down at that lower level. Now they're raising the level, and they're going to start taking capital retains out of people again to get up to that level. I might, because I didn't split that off, I might actually still be in the level range where they're not going to take nothing out of me. And if they did start, it'd only be for like a year or two. When they pay the next round of dividends or something, it would probably put me over that level, and, or whatever. But, like I say, it's getting, they just don't want the small guy. Like I say, Walmart will not take milk from guys like me. They have, I only milk around 30 cows right now. I got a bunch of dry ones here and sold a bunch here. Usually I'm up around 35 to 40. And production sucks right now too. You can't get nobody to figure that out. But, I forgot where I was going. Oh, I was talking on that. Oh, but Walmart wants a truckload from one farm. One farm per truckload. They don't want multi-mixed loads like this, So they're picking up all them big farms out in Illinois, Indiana. I think that's why they built theirs, because that's a lot of big farms in that area. And there's a lot of Michigan is a state too, I guess, that is surplused. They don't have no processing capabilities up there. So I guess, I'm assuming they're getting a lot of that milk too. And And of course, the cheese plant where my milk goes here in Pennsylvania is getting a lot of that Michigan milk too. But that's what I think is going on there. You know, I had this talk with the milk inspector here one day, and he told me I was nuts, laughed at me basically. I told him, you're better off with 10 50 cow dairies than one 500 cow dairy. Because right now, if I get a cow that flares up with mastitis, it shows up instantly in my tank, and I either have to treat that cow or sell the cow or, dump the milk. But you take that same cow and put her in a 500 cow dairy, you would not even notice it in the tank. It wouldn't affect the counts all that much because dilution is the solution to pollution. And they're more than likely going to get paid quality bonuses on that milk. And when I told the milk inspector that, he says, no, that's not true. These larger farms, they have sensors in their parlor that detect it while they're milking, which they do. But the bottom line comes, if it's not affecting the counts at the end of the month, nobody's going to do nothing. And then he goes to tell me how great it is. They have farms in Michigan where they're bringing a tanker load of milking from. And it's so much better because it's a higher quality milk because they're getting it to market faster. Like now, I'm picked up every other day. So some of the milk in my tank is 48 hours old when they pick it up. It's refrigerated and everything. It's not going bad. But if you got a farm that's milking 3 times a day and they're sending a tanker load of milking, they could have that milk into the processing plant in less than 12 hours. So it says you're getting a longer shelf life out of it. But in the end, unless you can sell stuff by the semi-load and buy stuff by the semi-load, it's getting to the point nobody wants to deal with you. Like right now, had one equipment company in here wanted to work on the pipeline. They came in here, ran one test. Well, we got to be in Meadville for something. I haven't seen them since. It's been over a month. I can't get nobody to change them damn lights up there. You see that light? Oh, you probably can't see it. That light right there. Where is it? One light is on. There should be 4 lights. That light is with 2 other lights up there. There should be 12 bulbs on, and I got 1 bulb that's lit up. Nobody wants to do anything. Nobody wants to return calls. I had a guy who was supposed to come and re-groove this concrete. I've lost a couple cows this year, especially first calf heifers, because they can't stand up on this concrete. It's grooved, but it's polished up enough that they can't stand on it. And I had a guy who was going to come and recut grooves on a 30-degree angle to these. Talked to him in June. I haven't heard from him yet. So I've given up on him. I'm going to go buy a trailer load of sand, and I'm just going to start sanding the piss out of this. But the one neighbor that's shipping Deans, about 2 months ago he told me he was getting out of there. He's trying to get into this other company downstate here, and they want to move up into this area. And the one thing about them is 200 cows is the largest area they pick up milk from. They like the fact where they can post on their website a picture of a farm, and they wouldn't pick up from me because I got a bunch of junk in the yard, weeds growing up and stuff. They want the dairies of distinction. They want to say, this is where our milk comes from. And I think that's a lot of why consumption is down on milk, because people have the notion of a farm of there's a red barn, the white silo, and cows out on pasture. When you look nowadays, nobody puts their cows out on pasture. Now normally I'd have this gate open. These are just the dry cows here. And I would let the dry cows out, but that one there's due any day now, and I don't want her having the calf out there in the snow and trying to find it out there. And I have another place right now where I can separate her off. But as soon as she has a calf, these will be going back out. But people don't understand. Like I say, I run a 3-stall setup here. And I ain't designed absolutely right. These stalls should have been at least 8 inches shorter. These stalls over here were the first ones I put in. And they should have been about 6 inches longer. But you can see the difference in height in the stalls. This pipe here is these stalls, and then higher on this side. Well, these I put in off information I've had from designs through Penn State. But they were from the early 90s. And this is how much cows have changed over the years. You know, you're raising big cows nowadays. And like I say, these should be been higher and wider. You know, here I got stall broke out, I got to fix, and there's a nice big stall there, but yeah, I guess I rambled on too much again. But yeah, like I say, what I wanted to say was, yeah, you can thank Walmart for, I'm going to say it's all Walmart's fault. I mean, like I say, I don't shop there anymore. I can't stand the place. They've done this to too many other companies, but because the Deans losing their contract with Walmart's pretty much started all this. And like I say, I had a suspicion this spring that DFA was going to put a move to buy them out. So, but it's going to get to the point they're going to force guys like me out, and it's going to be, you know, there's a lot of, well, one farm up here in Syracuse I watch. You know, he said on video there one day that milk should be $25 a hundred. And then a couple weeks later, he's telling how they're adding on to the barn and putting up another bunk silo. Well, if you keep adding cows and flooding the market, how the hell are you going to get milk $25 a hundred? You keep flooding the market. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to mention there too real quick. A couple years ago, DFA did build a condensing plant in Michigan. And they're bringing that milk down to Farmer's Cheese here in Pennsylvania, where my milk's going. And it's supposed to help on the trucking, because every tanker load of milk that they're bringing in, it's condensed down. It's equivalent to, I guess, 2.5 truckloads of regular milk. So they're saving on trucking. And supposedly that condensed product enhances the cheese somehow. That's one reason why they do it. And the other one I wanted to tell about. I forget now. But so, yeah, I guess I'm going to end there. I rambled on too much again, but yeah, it's seeing that on the news this morning just didn't surprise me. So, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you guys later.